What's up, people? Peace in the building. It's iLogs here. Why did I say it like that? Why did I say it like that? Okay, it's iLogs here. And this video, I really felt on making it, you feel me? While I was eating with my family. I graduated, so these days I've really been thinking about my past, especially like my childhood right there, you feel me? Elementary school, middle school, all the way up to high school. My whole life trajectory. And I got a good memory, thank God. I'm talking 4th grade right there. I remember a lot of stuff. 4 years old, I remember a lot of stuff. And I'm really thankful for that. So, and I remembered a lot how I used to think. I remember like my mindset, my thought process. I remember how I used to be and how I used to think. And it's good to see that changing over time. Like I said, when it came to me to make this video, I was eating with my family. It was at the restaurant close to home, and I was remembering this lyric that I heard on the song. The song is called Kingdom Bars Outro, and these things right here, outro, by Jazz Donnell. I think that's how you say his name, Donnell. And the one lyric that really got me is, everybody's talking about a change, but who gonna do it? So why don't I tell you about like my history right there, like what I've been thinking about? It's cause when I'm talking like 2018, when I was like 10, you feel me? 10 all the way to 14. It was a time in my life that I was really reflective. 10, 14, 15. Really reflective, really critical about things, really wanted to get to the substance of everything that I came into contact with, especially online. I used to spend a lot of time online, and I believe that might be the reason that I've lost that, in a sense. I'm not as critical as I used to be, and I'm not as reflective as I used to be, and it shouldn't be that way. As you get older, you would hope for your virtues or for the good stuff in you to maintain and to grow, not to lose them. But that's something that I have to admit that definitely started lacking. The way I used to think, my more critical side, more reflective, you know. Man, I believe that's probably because I've been off the internet since I got into high school. Since sophomore year right there. I really haven't been online. Haven't been trying to be online, haven't been trying to keep up with nothing. And I kind of regret that a little bit, but I don't really care either, because I can just get up to date now. And I would see a lot of stuff as a kid. When I was 10, for you to have an idea, when I was 10, it was this one guy, I don't remember his name, but it's a blue logo on his YouTube channel. It's not Dr. Dre, because Dr. Dre is a rapper. But it's Dr. something. And bro would be hitting on feminists. I'm talking like beating down like crazy. Looking back, and I used to love that. I used to love watching them videos. I'm like, yeah, he's talking some real stuff. He's speaking the truth. That's when you see something that I hold to my heart to this day, is the truth. Looking back, I think with the mind that I got now, like, bro, why are you tripping? Like, why do you care so much? But he wasn't wrong in most of the stuff he would say. But I believe that the way you go up on aborting, that's not the right word. But that's not the right word. All right, y'all forgive me. I'm Brazilian, and I don't live in the States no more. I used to. So a lot of words, they're not really coming to me because I haven't been talking in English for the longest time, you feel me? But that's not the best way of going about it. That's not the best way of going about that situation, about those people. But me as a kid, I would think, yo, this man is speaking the truth, and so I'm gonna be all for it. Even if he was super, super mean about it, bro. I'm talking like disrespectful. I would laugh so much though. Anyways. But that's something that I had to me as a kid. If something is the truth, bro, and it makes sense, if it makes sense, I'm about it. If it's the truth, I'm about it. And if it's a lie, if it doesn't make sense, I'm discarding that, and I don't want nothing to do with that. And that was like furious in me. I'm talking like annoying. But that's a good thing though. That's a good thing I had as a kid, because it led me to be reflective and it led me to be critical. And I would maintain that thought process. And when I got to around 12 right there, I would start looking to myself, and I saw how much I was annoying as a kid. I saw a video about PewDiePie. I'll never forget this. He's talking about stoicism, and it just hit me so hard. I believe that I was doing this one thing is called Kumon. It's called Kumon. And I really did not like doing it, and I would be fighting with my mom, arguing with my mom. That's such a horrible thing, though. Like a kid arguing with his mom is wild. But I was just super annoyed all the time. I hated school. For you guys to have an idea. Like, I just did not like school at all. I would be complaining all the time. When I saw that video about stoicism, I'm like, yo, this is facts. This is real. This is the truth right here. And after I identified that as something that was truthful, that it made sense, I'm like, yo, I'm going to have to take this with me. And those ideas of stoicism, I mean, not stoicism, but those ideas of just be complaining all the time, be annoyed all the time, arguing all the time, I'm going to have to discard that. Like, no, because this right here, this annoying version of me just doesn't make sense no more. So, like, bye. You feel me? And stoicism at that time was like, yo, this right here makes sense. And I started getting into philosophy. I never really went deep, though. But just for y'all to have an idea of what I'm talking about here, that's something that really just, in my heart, in my soul, it would just burn in me. You feel me? Like, just the truth. If it's something was truthful, that was it. If it's a lie, discard that. Because why would you want to live a lie? It never made sense to me. And I hold that to me to this day. But, like I said, I lost that through time. Because when I started worrying about my own life, got older, I'm like, yo, I got to graduate. I got to study. I got to get, I'm not going to say I got to run after that bag. Like, no, but like, you got to get your stuff in order. You got to mature. You got stuff you got to do as you get older. Studying, taking care of your health, taking care of your ministry, of whatever it is. You got to grow as an individual. And I stopped worrying about the overall situation in society like that, like I used to. I stopped worrying about what people would be thinking. I stopped worrying about what was being said online. Like I said, I haven't even been online for the longest now. Not saying that like, yo, I don't be on my phone. No, it's just like I stopped. Like I would be on my gram or something, but it would just never pop up on my feeds, and I didn't really care about it no more. And the YouTubers that I would watch, I stopped watching YouTube. I stopped watching YouTubers. I used to watch YouTubers that would like really keep me up to date on stuff. Stopped watching that, and it just went away. And with that lack of conflict, that reflectiveness, that criticism that I had, went away. And it's something to me that's something you can't really lose, and that's something that's coming back now. Thank God. With this time that I'm having to just be more by myself, thinking more about me, thinking more, not just about me, but everything in general, my situation, the things around me, the world in itself. And that's something that I have to retain. And I said, I was eating today with my family, and I was thinking about my past, I was thinking about all this stuff, and I remember the lyrics of this song, right? Kingdom Bars. Everybody's talking about a change, but who gonna do it? And before I wanted change, before I really cared about change, like this channel, I wanted to make a channel to talk about what I thought, my ideas, ever since I was 14. That's about to be 4 years ago. So, but never made it, you feel me? But I remember 9th grade, or freshman year, I was like, yo, cause I have videos. I don't know if I still have them. But, yo, I'm going to make my first video before I put on my braces. Tuck them out now, you feel me? That's 4 years ago. That's a long time. And now is when the channel is going to come out. And I'm not more mature. I'm a lot more mature now, thank God. You feel me? So I don't really care that I didn't start it before, but it's something that I always had to me. You feel me? And I believe that a voice, it really does make a difference. But everybody's talking about a change, but who gonna do it? Everybody's talking about a change, but who gonna do it? I remember before I thought, yo, I am absolutely non-conforming with all the stuff that is going on. I completely disagree with a lot of stuff, and I believe there's a change that needs to happen. And I thought, like, yo, change. This ain't right. Like I said, we got the truth here. We got people living lives that just doesn't make sense. And it's really selfish to just live the truth by yourself. I feel like anybody, this is the truth though. This is real. Anybody who has an idea that they hold true to their heart with all of their forces, they're gonna fight for that idea. People die for their ideas. People die for the truth. And that's something noble, I'd say. That's something virtuous. And that's something as humanity we can't lose. And today, that's what we see the most of. We see so many lies. We see so many wrong ideas, so much death. And death not even in the sense of just physical death of people dying, but death in so many ways. We're seeing the death of values. We're seeing the death of values, bro. Death of values, that's just crazy. Death of ideas, death of traditions, like patriotism. I believe that a country, as a member of a country, you should have a patriotic sense, you know. That's something that I think is something that is essential for a nation to exist. That people have to have a sense of patriotism. And that's something that, at least me personally, in my country, I see that's dying out. So we're seeing a lot of stuff just go, and we have to fight for that. And the problem is this thing right here that's filming me. Distractions. You've been really distracted as people. And I say that as to myself, you know. Today I was on my phone for 2 hours. Like, that's crazy. It's common. That might even be below the average, 2 hours on the gram. But just because it's common doesn't mean it's right. Just because it's common doesn't mean it's normal. That's absolutely wild. You know, and distracted. It distracted me. Imagine, in those 2 hours I could have made this video so many times. But I didn't because I was distracted. And while we're being distracted, we're just seeing things go by that can't go by. We're losing things that we can't afford to lose. And we're going to look back later in life and think, where was I? What was I thinking? What was I doing? You're going to look back. I'm remembering now the Israelites, you feel me? The Israelites, they lost everything. They got banished to, I don't know the name of it in English, but it's Babylon. It's Babylon. They got banished to Babylon. I think it's Babylon. And they lost everything while they were distracted by their sin, distracted by their idols. They lost everything that really mattered, which was God, God's presence, God's temple. And they lost all of that. And today, we're distracted by our phones, we're distracted by the media, we're distracted by so many things. We're distracted by false ideas, false convictions, we're distracted by false hopes, false everything, fake everything, all lies. We're distracted by these lies, we're distracted by all of this stuff that is just mist, vapor, nothing that has any actual substance to it. And we're going to look back while Satan is literally just stealing all of our values, our principles. I'm talking like principle, values, you know, everything we hold dear, everything that is really fundamental to a society, to a family, to a person, is being robbed or being distracted. And we're going to look back and think, where was I? What was I doing? You know? And that's just a reflection right there. I think that's what I had to say. It came out as it should have been said. We can't afford to be distracted anymore, you know? We really cannot be distracted. We can't afford to be distracted anymore. We already seen significant losses as a society. And I say that as a 17-year-old, about to be 18. I say that as someone who studied history. And I can say, like, we lost a lot of stuff. And I say history, I'm not even talking like, yo, 1700s. You can just, I'm talking like, just look to your past. Look to your family's past. Look at 30 years ago, 20 years ago. You can get that information by talking to somebody on the street, talking to somebody in your family. You'll realize that we've lost a lot so quickly. And we can't afford to lose anymore. And beyond that, the time is running out, and it's gotten to the point that we really have to start building. We got to start building. We got to start impacting. And I believe that voices need to be raised up. You know, voices have to arise to speak for the truth. Voices got to arise to speak for what's right, for what's righteous, for what's just, and to call out the evilness of society, to call out the lies, to call out the distractions, and then we can really start seeing change. Change really starts with you. Change really starts with me, with us, and it's really inspirational because when you start looking into people's lives, it's really just one man. It's really just one person that makes a big difference in society. Of course, they can't do it by themselves, but one idea that's different and one voice that just screams out louder than every other voice, not screaming, yells out louder. They start attracting people. They start attracting other ideas. It starts forming a group. And that starts making change. And that's so much as to good things as it is for bad things, you know what I mean? Hitler is a clear example of a voice that was evil, but a voice that yelled stuff that appeared to be true. They had some basis to it, I guess, and attracted a lot of people. And that's one man. One man did such a horrible thing, which was to kill 6 million Jews. It's wild. But it was one man. The same way, one man, let's get there, Martin Luther King. One voice, just started making a big difference. And through his acts, through his ministry, we've seen the civil rights movements, we've seen big changes. And there's definitely a lot of more examples in the recent past and in the ancient history of our human race. But I believe that now more than ever is a time that we need to start raising up our voices, and we need to start speaking out loud, speaking for the truth, and speaking to stop the lies from getting to us, to stop the distractions from distracting us. And I hope that I can do that through this channel. I hope in some way I can speak some truth. And I hope that in some way I can call out some lies. And I pray in Jesus' name that some may listen. That's all. I believe that's everything that I had to say in this video. Peace be with you. The Lord's peace in Jesus' name. Hallelujah. All honor, all glory be to the one true God, Yahweh.